Senator Arlen Specter's defection to the Democratic Party, just the latest bad news for the Republican Party. Politico suggests the GOP's meltdown is the worst of any party's in decades and has left the Republican Party on the brink of irrelevance with few obvious paths back to power. Specter's abandonment comes in the same month as a traditionally Republican-leaning district in upstate New York tipped for the Democrats. That means in the 9 northeastern states now, there are only 15 Republican House members out of 83 seats and only 3 Republican senators out of 18. On a national level, the GOP is near record levels for unpopularity. Only about 1 person in 4 now identifies himself as a Republican, and a new CNN Opinion Research Corporation poll shows only 39% of those surveyed have a favorable view of the Republican Party. That's not enough to win any election. Even a lot of Republicans don't like the Republican Party much anymore. Some Republicans say conservatives have left the GOP with an extraordinary exclusionary message. Senator Olympia Snowe says, quote, "Being a moderate Republican sometimes feels like being a cast member on Survivor. You're presented with multiple challenges, and you often get the distinct feeling that you're no longer welcome in the tribe," unquote. Meanwhile, Specter's switch to the Democrats is less than genuine. As recently as March 17th, just a scant month or so ago, Arlen Specter of Pennsylvania insisted in an interview he would never switch political parties. But once the polls indicated he would lose his bid for re-election, well, he jumped on the Democrats' bandwagon like a bird on a worm. This is called political opportunism and hypocrisy. Anyway, here's the question. Is the Republican Party on the brink of irrelevance? Go to cnn.com/Cafferty File. Post a comment on my blog. Arlen Specter has a long history of saying one thing and then doing something else.
But then
another example.
He's 30 years he's been in the Senate, so he gets himself reelected.
Well, swell.
Thanks.
Question this hour, is the Republican Party on the brink of irrelevance? Question prompted in part by the switching to the Democratic Party of Senator Arlen Specter of Pennsylvania. CJ in Atlanta, they passed the brink a long time ago. The Republican Party might as well build an isolated compound in the middle of Texas, wall themselves in, and then try to impress each other with who can be the most conservative prude. That's their vision for America. Put them to pasture and let them have at it. Maggie says, given the fact most sensible conservatives have abandoned the Republican Party and the party itself is striving for purity in its ideology, only a miracle will save it from extinction. The GOP has now established its standard answer to solving any and all problems is just say no. Except, of course, when it comes to torture. They support that. Missy in Phoenix, Jack, didn't we say the same thing about the Democrats 8 years ago? Yes, the GOP isn't too popular right now, but that's okay. It's not their turn in the limelight. Let the Democrats have their time in the sun. Hopefully the GOP will use this time to refine their message and find new energy. Sarge in Indianapolis, the budget was passed today, 233 to 193, without a single Republican vote. Very soon the Democrats will have a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. So who cares how the GOP votes anymore? And if that isn't irrelevant, what is? Dave in Utah, the 2-party system's in place. It'll remain that way. The GOP will stay relevant, but it'll change. I think the party will get back to its fiscal roots and small government. John in Oxford, Mississippi. Jack, the Republican Party, plenty relevant as long as you're a 60-year-old Southern white male who hates government, taxes, and gay marriage. And Harold in Anchorage, Alaska. Will the last person leaving the Republican Party please turn out the lights? If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog at cnn.com/Cafferty File. Look for yours there among hundreds of others. Republicans have their problems, Wolf.
Jack Cafferty, thanks very much.